What we gonna do right now is go back, way back. Give me your friend.
Baby.
What's up? I thought you was gonna start hanging out with the big girls again. What is all this trash?
Fat girl, hit the ground, hit it up, and you hear that sound. Fat girl just looking so sweet. Fat girl don't make you think. Fat girl just shake it, don't break. Big on, let me see you do a spin. Let go, let me see you touch the ground. Shake it up, take it off, back down. Drop me in the house, burn it out, back out. Work it, work it, work it, work it, big girl, 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 like you around. Fat girl keep going, don't quit. Fat girl just move the damn hip. Fat girl get down, don't stop. Fat girl wanna see the pop. Shake it, fat girl, shake it fast. Fat girl nigga wanna see that. Fat girl bounce like a pro. Fat girl don't know what you know. Fat girl shake till you rip through what? On the web press, hard part two. Lips and outs, y'all know the game. Fat girl don't have no shame. Shake that back, back to the beat. Fat girl shake it, jiggle at me. St. Louis, back to the top. Like I like to do the ride. Work it, work it, work it, big girl, 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 like do the ride. Hey, hey, more hey. Let me hear you say, hey, hey, more hey. Big girls like do the ride. Shake, work, shake, work, shake, work, shake, work, shake, shake, work, shake, shake, work, shake, work, shake, work, shake. To the ground, to the ground, to the ground, to the ground.
Now listen to this. Now I want to show y'all a real show with the big girls.
Oh, fat girl, part 3. Can't hang with 106 beat. Fat girl know the happen, no quit. Fat girl run like you own it. Put your hands on your hips and grip it. Not new, I'm gonna look like it off the now. Fat girl bring the crew to top the climb. If not, I'ma pull the business down. Fat girl bounce hot, stop tripping. If you do, get chicken and hot bitch. With a lot right, come to the night speed. I really shit get the dead in the way I cheat. But fat girl show the boy a shot. Let me see if it's fat or not. Don't put fat girl, y'all like the damn bitch. Let me see y'all do the rap.
I'm serious. Where you are? Not in Alabama. Oh, not the Britney Spears. Hey, how you doing? Oh, but I ain't the little leprechaun. Girl, your wings can blow up. You look a mess. All about the big girls. What about the big girls?
Big girl, work it, work it, work. Big girl, work it, work it, work. Big girl, you done suck all the fat off your ass. Yo, welcome to another edition of the Uncle Luke Show podcast, brought to you by all kinds of people, especially brought to you by Luke Records, Yep, that's what it is. Luke Records. Y'all come on in. Come on in. Can you hear me? I know you can. I know you can hear me because they told me you can hear me. They say, I can hear clearly now. The rain is gone. Let's go. Y'all ain't ready. Y'all ain't ready. Welcome to another edition of the Uncle Luke Show podcast. This is a beautiful thing. I just want to let y'all know this here. This show is going to be very impactful. This show is going to be very serious. We're going to go from serious to impactful to serious because it's a very serious topic that's going on right now. This is the Debbie Does District 20 show, my version of it. We're going to have some special guests on today, and we're going to talk about this. Remember, this is the Uncle Luke Show podcast. We're brought to you by Luke Records. Go to Luke Records and get all your Luke gear, your Uncle Luke gear, your hats and your T-shirts and all those different things because we got all that stuff. And then you can go and get some of that archive music, some of all that booty-shaking music and all those things like that. Go to LukeRecords.com and go get all your good stuff. And remember to go to Uncle Luke for Congress website. If you want to join the team, you want to be a volunteer, you want to get a yard sign, I'll bring it to you myself. Go to www.luthercampbellforcongress.com and going on over there and, join the team. But this, like I say, is a very important show. That's why we're on all of my stations. This show, we are on all of my stations. We're on Facebook. We are on YouTube. We are on Twitch. We are on Instagram. We are on, you name it. We're everywhere. This thing is all over the place. It's a big show. I got to be on all my social media platforms. And before we even start the show, we want to say Happy Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day to the people who put their lives on the line. I actually had 3 brothers to be in the military. 3 brothers to be in the military. Thank God they all came back with all of their limbs, and they all came back in shape and all came back and became productive citizens within the United States of America. And they all came back, did good. All those dudes ended up becoming multimillionaires, which is a great thing. And I love all my brothers. I love them all. My mama had 4 boys. Can you imagine? We had no girls. There was no girls in the house. None. No girls. 0 girls in the house. That's amazing. Can you imagine a house like that? Can you imagine what's going on in that house? It was a whole bunch of fighting. It was a whole bunch of male testosterone going on in the house. But then those are the times you had to grow up in. It was a 2-bedroom house. Mom and dad had their room over there. Thank God. Shouts out to my dad, Stanley Campbell, Yvonne Campbell, my dad from Jamaica, mom from Bahamas. Those good folks. I gotta go back to Jamaica. Then I'm being honored by the Prime Minister of the Bahamas. Yes, I'll tell y'all about that at a later show. But this show here is really about Congressional District 20. Man, where do I start? I'm going to have a special guest on the show today. Hopefully he'll come on. But where do I start? It's like, let me start here. I said on this show, numerous occasions, you can go back to the archives and look at the show in the archives, and you'll see that I mentioned on this show that Debbie Wasserman Schultz will be running for Congress in Congressional District 20. And I gave everybody the reasons why. I told you she's going to be running in this district. And I'm going to give you my reason why in a minute. But first of all, I want to say this is a very important moment in Black history. I talk to a lot of people. A lot of people don't get it. A lot of people don't understand where I'm coming from. And I'm saying that this moment right here is very important in Black history. and where we stand in the Democratic Party. And let me elaborate, because anything that I say, I will go and I will back up by my opinion, my humble opinion as to where we are. We know African-American men, we're in a fragile situation when it comes to the Democratic Party. When it comes to the Democratic Party, Trump went after black men, and he got a little percentage. He only needed a little percentage. He only needed to put out there in the atmosphere, whether it was on any social media, Twitter, whatever it may be, Tariq Nasheed, all the guys with the FBA and all that stuff like that, and other people. He just needed to create doubt, whether you should vote for Kamala Harris or you should continue supporting the Democratic Party. You know, the doubt is, what have they did for you? You know, those were little seeds that he consistently planted throughout his campaign. What have they done for you? Look at your community. They look like shit. And you was like, oh my God, why would he say our community look like shit? You got crime and all that's going on. And then he created that doubt. And he planted that seed. Then the other seed that he planted was, they're taking your jobs. It wasn't just for white people. That was more so pointed to black people. Immigrants are taking your jobs. And you heard these things consistently being echoed by black men, whether you go in the barbershop or whether you go to the park and you voice your anger about why you should be voting for Kamala Harris and not Donald Trump. And the brothers would push back and be like, Donald Trump, he's a real motherfucker. He this and he that. And he created doubt. He didn't start pardoning African-American young men, rappers. But look at him. He gave the argument. Look at him. He's pardoning Kodak Black, Lil Wayne. He's pardoning these black people. You got Kanye West going up there along with Kim Kardashian and asking to pardon ladies and people who are in jail. And he did that. That created doubt. That planted a seed. Because the ultimate goal was to win the election. Steve Bannon, the architect of it all, put all these things together to create that doubt within the African-American men. But African-American men, they're not stupid. Under no circumstance, we're not stupid. So we sit back and we analyzed it. We analyzed it from the standpoint of Ice Cube saying, I have a platinum plan and I want to sit down with Joe Biden and I want to sit down with Donald Trump and I want to sit down with anybody and let's talk about this platinum plan. And Donald Trump said, I'll talk to you. And then Joe Biden said, I'll talk to me after the election. And then the Democratic machine jumped on Ice Cube and painted him as a picture as a Donald Trump supporter, which he's not. He just wanted to show his plan and say, bid on our support. But the Democratic machine went after him. And they painted a picture that Ice Cube was a Republican because of doing sensible things. So time moved on where you had an election, and before you know it, the election came about. Donald Trump won. He got a small margin of black men to a large margin of black men to stay home and say, fuck it. I'm not voting for either one of them because I don't want to feel guilty that I didn't vote for her, but I didn't vote for him. But we all know a no vote for her and would mean a vote for him because that was a part of the game plan. That was the game that they played against the Democratic Party, which for some odd reason, they didn't notice it. They didn't notice it. They were just sitting there doing Democratic business as usual. We got the black vote. We control the black vote. We ain't worrying about the black people because our elected black officials are going to go back to their community and say, vote no matter who, you vote blue. And we did that, 92%. We did that because we've always been true to the Democratic Party.
But the question has always been in the back of black men's mind, because we are the breadwinner. We're the king of the castle. Don't get it twisted. We love our sisters. Our sisters are the backbone of the household. Our sisters are the greatest human beings on earth. The Democratic Party targeted our sisters. And they disenfranchised black men. That was by design. Because black men are going to demand certain things, even though black women are going to demand certain things, black men are going to demand certain things from a black man's perspective, because we're the ones getting shot at. We're the ones that are getting told no. We're the ones who are the protector of the household. We're the ones who are going to go run up in our house if it's burning and get our family out, because we love our family so much. We're the ones that they paint a picture of deadbeat dads on a consistent basis through the media that they control, that the Democratic Party controls. Don't get it twisted. We know who control the movie theaters. We know who control mass media. We know who control Hollywood. That's why Hollywood is what they call liberal. I want that to just sit on your mind for a second, because I know I'm giving you a lot of information real fast and real time. Just let that sit on your mind. Because most of your African-American filmmakers, movie documentarians, musicians, you constantly complain about who and what and how they depict us, what sells and what don't. To them, what can get in the movie theaters and who puts it in there. I want you to think about it. What music you listen to, on what radio stations, what artists they prop up, and to who. Who controls all that? Google works. Moving right along. I want to give you the full picture of it all as to where we at. So we sat here, this fragile state of black men, this fragile state now of the African American community. You had a comedian jump out there and say, well, black people were freed, black people were given their rights and they're freed by Republicans. But he didn't know the other historical part about that part in the Dixiecrats, and how the Dixiecrats and how we eventually left the Republican Party and slid over to the Democratic Party, because the Democratic Party was doing certain things for us and the Dixiecrats did not agree with. So they slid on over to the Republican Party. So we ended up in the Democratic Party. And I want you to remember this. I want to put this on your mind to bring you to where we're at right now. I'm gonna come back to that. I'm going to come back to that, because there's a point in history all the time where it becomes a historic moment where you say, okay, it's time to move. Because there was a historic moment at that time when Dixiecrats decided they want to move over there to the Republican Party and make it much more, because that was the party of you know who, and left us over here. We were invited to this party. They have all kind of chicken, they have all kind of food, they have all kind of drinks, they have all kind of things and everything, but we were invited to this party. But have we really ever ate? Giving us public housing? Is that really eating? When after World War II, and I want to I stand to be corrected, but after World War II, when we went and fought alongside with our white Americans, they came back home and they gave them houses and land. They put us back in slavery. That's where the reparation part comes in at. And on top of it, they took our land. So they gave us public housing, a welfare check. Y'all call it SNAP now. So it's so amazing. I'm running around the district talking about, yeah, I'm here to protect your SNAP benefits. I'm a history junkie. I'm like, fuck, why is 60 years we're still talking about SNAP benefits? But I'm gonna go back to that. So you get us to here. This is deep for me. This is fucking deep for me. This is really deep for me. Which, when Ron DeSantis and everybody started talking about taking black books out of public schools, us, older people, were aware of our history because we read up on our history, whether it was in school or we was taught by our parents. So I was taught by my parents because the only thing they taught us was Martin Luther King. They never taught us about H. Rap Brown, never taught us about Malcolm X, they never taught us about Du Bois, they never taught us about that. And I urge you to teach your kids about Black history so they can be aware. I'm not woke, I'm aware. So it brings us to this moment here, right? This moment in history. Every place we gentrified, we moved, they tore down our communities, they ran expressways through, they burned down cities in Palm Beach, they blew up Tulsa, they ran wrecking balls through our community because those are the communities that we lived in, because after we built America and nobody came to our aid, they tore it down. They tore our communities down and they separated us. They put us in government housing projects. And some of us worked our ass off. And then we moved out of the projects and we will not stay in the projects, and we moved into housing like my parents did in Liberty City. Dad and mom, predominantly white neighborhood. They came in, the white guy said, hey, you're in the wrong neighborhood. You should be going over there in the pork and beans. That's why that term is so derogatory when you talk to historians or people who live in Liberty Square Housing Project, because that's the name of it. They say, go over there, live in there. Y'all belong over there. Why you say that? Because that's all they can afford is pork and beans. Everything that's going on in America today is by design. So what is going on right now? How did we get here? I'm gonna fast forward because I'm not gonna take too much of y'all time, because I know you're sitting there, you got your popcorn and your barbecue and you're sitting there on Memorial Day, because this is the moment. Normally I wouldn't have this show on a holiday, but this is Memorial Day. This is a perfect day to have this conversation, because African American men and women laid their lives on the line for this country. And we are out there in Arlington Cemetery and cemeteries around the country. And we have family members who have that flag of a lost soldier and a military person. This is the perfect day to have this conversation. So when I saw Debbie Wasserman Schultz make a statement on Friday, I was like, this is the perfect weekend for her to make this statement, because this is the perfect weekend and perfect day for us to make a statement as well. This is the moment, people. Whether you like it or not, this is the pivotal moment for you and your kids. If you got a kid sitting up in the house at 12 years old, 16 years old, 15 years old, the things that government put in place right now affects you in the next 10 years. 5 to 10 years, the things that are voted on right now take effect in the next 5 to 10 years. Yeah, there are some things that take effect right now, but majority of those things and majority of those plans taking effect in the next 5 to 10 years. So when you look at your child running around, jumping in the pool, you need to think, what are you going to leave them with? What legacy? What backbone? What strength? What opportunities? Because in these times, why this moment is so important, in these times as an African-American man and a woman, we are under serious attack. We are under attack. This shit is real. They created a 2020 plan. Kamala Harris told you about it. You believed that you were going to get a stimulus check. Whatever the fuck happened, you believed, and you sat home and you didn't vote for her, and you sat there and you voted for him. But all things ain't over, because you needed that moment. You need that validation that he and them are not for you. You needed that. We knew that, but you needed that. We don't fault you. We say they fucked around and found out. But we will never say to our own, we fuck around and find out. We will never do that. It is time for us to come together as African Americans in this country right now, in this moment. It is time for us to come together. If we don't come together, we continuously fall for anything. We fall for it all. Let's take it, case in point. Let's look at the Republican Party. Let's take Donald Trump. Brilliant. Brilliant. There you go, right there. I read all their books. Brilliant. This man hijacked the fucking Republican Party. Outsider. Didn't like him. They paraded all the candidates that they wanted to get the nomination. He eventually got the nominations. We're talking about a reality TV show star who was made famous off Your Fire and the antics. He went in and took a tea party that carried and conducted themselves in a racist manner, spitting on black congressional members while they turned the other cheek. He hijacked that party, and he then put Tea Party on steroids and called it mega within the Republican Party. And there are Republican members that you see right now that are getting kicked out because in the primary, you see on the news, oh yeah, he voted against Trump and he voted to impeach Trump and he didn't vote down the lines of Trump. Over here, Trump went in and got them kicked out. Because yes, everybody in the party wasn't for him. He committed genocide within the Republican Party. And the ones who weren't with him, they shut the fuck up. And the ones who was with him, they walked around like this here. Where's Devin Nunes? I don't know what he had these days. They walked around with their chest stuck out. And then the other ones say, this is not Ronald Reagan's Republican Party. And they hightailed and jetted and say, I retire. I want to pass this shit. And the other ones sat there and they playing ball with him. But everything he's done is calculated. He has some brilliant people around him right now, unlike he had in the first term. So everything he does is calculated. Meanwhile, the Democratic Party is just sitting there screaming about Epstein files, Epstein files, Epstein files, Epstein files, Epstein files. Here's the reason why you should impeach him. We got to take control of the House. So then they go on to this whole crusade of, I can't get impeached, because that's the movie right now. Donald Trump would do any and everything not to get impeached. He would actually cut deals with Democrats not to get impeached. So now I got to go take, because I know who's loyal to the party. The loyal people of the party is African Americans. That's why I say this moment is very, very important to us as African Americans. That's why I'm going to keep reminding you, we're invited to a party and we don't eat. We're invited to a party where right now today, we're still talking about the same thing we talked about 30 years ago. Who has been benefiting from this party? Not us. Not us. Not us at all. And I'll lay that out for you. So he went on this crusade of getting rid of Democrats' House seats. So always the low-hanging fruit is let's get rid of African American seats. How many white Democratic seats did they get rid of? Let's get rid of black. So it's about 6 black seats that they eliminated, congressional seats. But then those are potential, because the way the numbers look, we're going to take over the House. Those seats, those black congressional candidates, this will mess you up, man. You know they would vote for Hakeem Jeffries. Table that. Put that over here. Because Luke setting up a whole table. You know I've been taught by some of the greatest lawyers of all times, and I watched them work, and I watched them make a case, and that is what I'm making a case right now. But you lay it out for the jury and the judge. Y'all are the judge and the jury. I'm laying this case out. So Donald Trump would cut a deal with Democrats. He would cut a deal with anybody not to get impeached. So they take away, they go after the low-hanging fruit, which is African Americans, and they take our seats. They gerrymander the map, take our seats. And then they get to Florida. They gerrymander the map and take our seats again. And then there's Congressional District 20, where they combine Jared Moskowitz with Debbie Wasserman Schultz. And I'm gonna come back to this party thing, why it's so important. They combine Jared Moskowitz with Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Shit just got real. Why would they combine Debbie Wasserman Schultz with Jared Moskowitz? The perception is I don't like Jared Moskowitz. He gets on the thing and talks bad about Donald Trump. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, same thing, but nah. So they combine those two. They combine those two. Why did they get combined by Ron DeSantis? Do you know? Do you know? Look who's calling me. Jim DeFeedy. Wrong time. You must be looking at the broadcast. Do you know? Here's the wild shit. That Jared Moskowitz used to work for Ron DeSantis. I want y'all to think about all this shit that I'm giving you. I know I'm giving you a lot. You might need to get a pencil and pad, because this is some mathematics shit. 1 + 1 = 2. 2 + 2 = 4. You don't need to divide. This is all plus. Jared Moskowitz used to work for Ron DeSantis. Jared Moskowitz was in charge of the COVID relief funds. Let me say that again. Jared Moskowitz used to work for Ron DeSantis in charge of the Sheila, in my opinion, COVID relief funds. Did you never hear his name implicated into how the allegedly got $5 million. I'm not going there yet. I'm not going there. I want y'all to see this whole fucking picture, because one thing about it, it's really plain. So, at the time, Jared was working for Ron DeSantis. Sheila was doing her COVID relief stuff. And all of a sudden, both of them ran for Congress, and both of them won. So, both of them won. Now they're in Congress. Now the gerrymandering of the maps get going on here. Now all of a sudden, Sheila, whatever happened with her, we're going to leave that alone. I'm not getting into that. But fast forward to this. When the drawing of the maps took place, you don't think Jared didn't make a phone call to Ron DeSantis? I think, this is just my humble opinion. This is how I think it went. I'm just saying, I don't know for a fact it happened like this. Just my opinion. And I choose my words carefully, because people, when I say it's my opinion, that protects me in the court of law for somebody to say that I'm slandering them. So just for the record, I was taught well. I can always say this is a political rally, and I can say what the fuck I want to say. The lawyers in the room understand exactly what I'm doing right now. So just imagine, and I'm a storyteller, and I remember all the stuff that I told you. Just imagine. Hey, Ron, I know you got to do a shot. I know you got to do president's work. I know you got to gerrymander the map, take out some of these black people, and I know you got to come on down here. And I know he ain't no fan of mine, but me and you down, man. Me and you down. If you win, Ron, shit, we're going to do this thing like we did it before. I'll come in there and work for you in the White House and all that, which we told Ron is not going to fucking win no presidency under no circumstance. So, hey, look here, but let's cut a deal. Let's cut this deal. I know what you want. I know you want Byron Donner to win. I know you got to get rid of some black congressional seats. This can't work with me. This is what I need you to do. Here's the deal. And hear me out. Is me and Debbie got all the money in our war chest. Over $2 million and $15 million in PAC money and all that. Either you could put both of us in the district together. We'll promise you that we won't run in Congressional District 22, where Donald Trump only won by 10% in the last election. Joe Biden won by 5% in his election with a weak candidate. I got to promise you, Ron, that we won't run in 22. But what I need you to do for me, Ron, because one of us, either me or Debbie, we could send a white woman into the black district, because African Americans tend to not raise up against white women. They're more accepting of white women traditionally than they are of white men. They'll push back. Oh, yeah. But that ain't happening this time. So here's what I'm gonna do, Ron. I'll promise you that we won't take our war chest and go to 22 and run, because we know that's a fragile Republican seat, because we don't want Uncle Donald upset that you went and flipped the fucking seat that you can flip, because a large part of that district is Debbie Wasserman Schultz district. But we'll do another side. We're running the black district. But you got to help us, Ron, run into this black district. How you going to help us? Now we're negotiating with the devil. This is how you going to do it, Ron. I need you to create a pathway for Debbie to win in Congressional District 20, because right now the numbers, they don't add up. The numbers are real tough because 20% is 15% white and about 54% African Americans and 15% Hispanics and 5% of some other folks. I need you to take some cities, some black cities out of Congressional District 20. This is what I need you to do. So me or Debbie don't run in 22, which makes all the sense in the world for the party. We're not going to flip that seat. This shit gets good. We'll run in 20. Yeah, the black people are going to be all upset. We got so much money, we can go buy them niggas. We can go buy us some pastors. We can go buy us some elected officials in there. Because we control the party. We know black people weak. We know they'll settle for anything. But they don't understand. They ran up against a buzzsaw. They didn't expect this pushback. So we'll go and run in 20. We'll have her run in 20 and not fuck with you in 22. But you need to create a pathway for us for this to really happen. So they got rid of Riviera Beach, predominantly black city. They got rid of Belglaze, predominantly black city. They got rid of Pahokee, a predominantly black city. They got rid of South Bay, a predominantly black city. They erased 4 fucking black cities out of this district to create a pathway for her, to bring the numbers down, and then they added in some fucking Carl Springs and some other little parts of her district to bring the numbers up for her. This is what fucking Ron DeSantis did. This is the deal they cut. And it gets better. You won't hear this on Jim DeFeedy. You won't hear this on Channel 7. They will not go into this, and they are intellectual enough to do this. You will not hear them do this. Because there's still more. Why does Debbie go into Congressional District 20? What else do she want? Because she's sitting over there saying, in my opinion, hell, they just got rid of 6 black Congressional District seats. Hakeem Jeffries is sitting there. He can't say shit because if he go against me, all the other white people who are going to vote for him, because if we take over the House, Debbie wants the House Speaker job. Hakeem Jeffries is sitting there with a fucking muzzle over his mouth like this. I can't say a motherfucking thing because I don't want the white colleagues to get all upset. Them going after the white woman saying, oh, yeah, we live in a democratic society and white people can vote and run for anybody like this. He's in, Hakeem, you're in a catch-22, my brother. Damn if you do and damn if you do. She's coming for the House Speaker job because Democrats will take over the House. And y'all already know black people always get the interim job. Black people always get the job when they tank. Black people always get the job when there's no sense of power, which is what Hakeem Jeffries has been holding down. He could get shit done because Mike Johnson was the Speaker of the House. She gonna mosey up there with her resume. That is why when you look at the video, you saw her up there with Barack Obama in the bag. I'm talking about Barack Obama and all these things. That is why. Pandering to black people locally and nationally. You stand down, you fucking Black Caucus. You stand down, you Hakeem Jeffrey. You stand down, you fucking NAACP, because we playing high stake poker. If you say something, we're gonna scream racism, even though I'm running in a black district. So if I win, this is Debbie. If I win, I could really shit. Black people voted me. Therefore, that makes me acceptable to take Hakeem Jeffrey's job because I am a representative of a predominantly Black district. Therefore, I control. That's all I need. That's all I need to make my case to be the fucking House Speaker. This shit is good. It's still more. It's still more. Jim DeFeedy asked her, say, Debbie, did you talk to the Black Caucus? I'm going to get to that. It gets better. So Ron DeSantis said, what else can I get? Say, Ron, here's the twofold thing here. You're going to please Donald and get rid of another African-American congressional seat because you, Ron, you hate Black people so much with a passion. You're going to get rid of another Black seat. And that's another. Daddy Trump is going to love you. Debbie is going to get rid of another seat. Now, there's 7 Black people who would have normally voted for her. I didn't run the numbers of who would possibly vote for her and who wouldn't vote for Hakeem because that is another race there. So it gets better. So you got to give me something else, y'all too. If Debbie wins, every African-American man and woman is going to feel disenfranchised. They're going to be pissed off to the highest of festivity because they have lost, going back to my original conversation, they have lost all faith in the Democratic Party because they're already on the edge. They're going to say, how dare this white woman come up in here and use all her millions and millions of dollars from her PACs, from all her money, and buy this seat. She is not one of us. Fuck that. We are not voting for no Democrats no more. They did the same exact thing as these white Republicans have did, gerrymander maps, take away our representation, and every other African-American congressman, elected official, need to be looking over their shoulder because that will be new precedent. But it gets better. If she wins, and the sentiments of a stronghold, Democratic stronghold, blue, hardcore blue, I would have found the way to bust up that stronghold blue, no matter who district of Broward County. I would have found a way to bust that shit up. Now all these African-American men and women are upset. Debbie done won the primary, which she's not. The Black men will then end up doing what? I'm going to vote for Brian McDonald. So, Ron, you're going to get the governor's house. Because you got so many upset African-American men, upset at the Democratic Party being disenfranchised, taking away their vote, and all across the nation and all across this state. God damn it. How they let that shit happen? That white woman came in there and bought the motherfucking election because, as you all know, they said the district was purchased before. I'm just saying. This is just my thought of it. So you got Democrats working with Republicans to hijack the Democratic Party, hijack Black district seats, open up Pandora's box for other white people to run in the rest of the left, the rest of the black seats. So now you got all over Twitter, oh, Congressman Wilson, she needs to retire. Oh, we get ready to Joe Biden her. So what y'all can do? Run a white person against her? Because a part of the district covers some white people. Congressman Wilson, like, what the fuck is going on? I don't know what's going on, Luke. It's a big game. In this moment, right now, black people need to come together. We need to make a decision who we fucking with and who we not. And we need to call out, I'm going to say it right on this show here, every African-American politician, I don't care where you at, whether you're in Washington, whether you're in whatever part, you need to, right now, denounce what Debbie Wasserman Schultz is doing. And you need to come hard. And us as African Americans, Black Americans in this country, we need to do a checklist as to who is standing with us and who ain't standing with us. We need to take a page out of Donald Trump book. And when it's time, like my records say, we'll see who get banned in the USA on election day. I put them lyrics in there for a fucking reason. I really been on that. And we mark them down. We take a page out of Trump book and we mark their ass down. And you black folks who don't stand with us in this moment right now, you will get banned in the USA. You will lose the next election. You will get pushed out of your seat because enough is enough. It is time right now, people, when the Dixiecrats made the decision to go Republican and Democrats decided they were taking in African Americans. That's the time right now. That's the time right now. Debbie Wasserman Schultz have brought it out. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you. Thank you. Because we've been feeling this way a long time. Because I'm running around in this district talking about things that we've been talking about for 100 years. Affordable housing, SNAP benefits, Medicare for all, Medicare, Medicaid, and all these things. And why the fuck we ain't passed that? When it's really simple in Congress? Why we not past that? Why? Why are we still here? We're talking about home ownership. Our kids come back from college. They got to move to Atlanta. They got to move to Detroit. They got to move Chicago. They got to move other places because there's no opportunity here. And so you can't tell me, ain't no fucking Debbie Wasserman Schultz, ain't no, none of these people could tell me that they've created opportunity for African Americans to be able to live here. Where our community is getting gentrified by you. I go down Sistrunk in Overtown. Developers, big cranes, big shit, all this here, Coconut Grove, moved out, pockets of black people left. That ain't for us. Oh, the developer coming in. And the developer is gonna develop affordable housing, workforce housing for who? By the time they finish doing the workforce housing develop, they say it's workforce housing for us. Really? And then they put management in there, and the management asks you for everything that they know a black person do not have. Give me your last 12 tax returns. Fuck out of here. All of a sudden, they walk around the neighborhood with the dogs and shit. Then a Starbucks go up. As soon as the Starbucks goes up, you know the neighborhood gone. So it's nobody can tell me that they've been working on behalf of African Americans. And I always ask even the black elected officials, how many black millionaires you made from the community? I'll wait. Most of your black elected officials are controlled by the lobbyists, and the lobbyists don't look like us. They're controlled by the lobbyists. A lot of them controlled by Ron Book, in my opinion. I tried Ron Book. I know he controlled a lot of these black people around here. I tried it. I sent Ron Book a link to make a donation. And I know he wasn't going to do it. Because he needed to have a go. He know I'm not the Negro that you can control. I know he wasn't going to do it. I'm like, this is validating these things for me. So we're up against a big machine. Now, every black elected official, all of a sudden, Debbie jumps in the race and everybody want to have a meeting. Oh, Luke, can we have a meeting with all of the candidates? Can we have a meeting with all of the candidates? Oh, yeah. Why y'all even want to have a meeting with all the candidates before she got in the race? So I will go to some of these meetings and I won't go to some of the meetings. And I'll sit up there because I know a lot of these candidates are bought and paid for. A lot of these people sitting up there asking for these meetings are bought and paid for. They're trying to test the temperature. A lot of these people in this race, see, Debbie needs X amount of people to be black people to stay in the race because it's, again, this is divide and conquer. It's still about divide and conquer. That's how we got here right now in our black community. They divided us and they conquered us. As soon as they put us on that bus, they put my black ass on that bus and sent me to Miami Beach and talked about integration. And then every time I ran back, came back from the beach, like, what the fuck? Why am I being sent over here? Why they ain't been sent over into our community? That's a whole nother story. Because they needed me to understand their way of life, so we became separated. I'm deep in this shit. My uncle's name is Ricky Sturb. The Sturb family built Miami, Broward, Palm Beach. They're from the Bahamas. Check my history. My daddy is Stanley Campbell, Jamaican. Go look up the history books. We were purchased by Georgetown. In the slave trade. I know my history. I know how we got to where we're at and where we're at now. This moment in time, we need to make a decision as African Americans to stand up against the oppressor. I ain't saying we don't need to be doing no war. We need to war with our minds because we're the only people in this country that pulled ourselves up from the bootstraps. Everybody else want to talk about what happened to them and their forefathers. Well, what happened to us that you just overturned in 1965 when we got our shit? If that ain't a clear message as to the direction it's going for your kids and our kids and my kids, this is where we're at. What they say, delineate? They're giving reparations to people who stormed the Capitol before they didn't understand reparations. Not one fucking black or Democrat never crafted a bill, put it to the House, got votes for it to give African American, foundational black Americans reparation. But yet and still, Donald Trump did it for his people. I respect it. Look, he's a Republican. He's supposed to do that. Where are we going to do it? Did Debbie craft the bill? No. Did Jared Moskowitz craft the bill? Did any Democrat craft the bill to repair and repay these African Americans? Again, like I said early on in this conversation, when they came back from World War II and they got put in slavery and they gave the white counterparts who they fought with houses and they took shit from us. Where's the reparation for African Americans? We don't have those kind of representatives. We have representatives that want to sit there and contemplate. We have representatives who want to sit there knowing that there's a travesty being done to an African-American community like Broward Congressional District 20, and they sitting on their ass. Hakeem Jeffrey should have been jumped his motherfucking ass out there and said something. He was quick to say something to Ron DeSantis. You gonna fuck around and find out. Fuck around and find out what? He just gerrymandered the map. What are you gonna say? It's time to come off vacation. It's an emergency, boss. Where's the Congressional Black Caucus? Y'all getting ready for a party? Y'all had them lavish, beautiful parties, but what the fuck do y'all do? I'm calling all y'all out, bruh. I'm calling out any African-American elected official that don't find this appalling to call out Debbie Wasserman Schultz for the shit that she's doing to black people in Broward County. This is some bullshit. You don't do it, you need to lose your seat. And this to every black person with a voter registration card all across this country. You need to look dead in the face. This is not just a Broward County thing. It's always start somewhere. This is a national thing. And I'm talking about all y'all. Stephen A., you need to say something. You ain't said shit. Roland Martin, where the fuck you at? Jamel Hill, where the fuck you at? Joy Reid, where the fuck you at? Tomorrow, I'm gonna give y'all the day off. But tomorrow, the algorithm needs to be blowing the fuck up. We need to get fuck that this football shit. This is more important than this football shit. Everybody, the NAACP. Oh yeah, we got boycott. We got all kind of sexy shit. These people and with the football shit. Don't distract us with the football shit. This is this is more important than the football shit. This right here, this white woman, in her travesty and the audacity of her to pander to us, to play games with us, to play in our face. Look at this shit.
Run?
No. None of them asked me not to run. What the leadership, what Hakeem Jeffries and my CBC colleagues told me is that, they know I know our community, and Leader Jeffries trusts Democrats to be able to know our communities well enough to have reached out, done the important outreach necessary to be able to make the decisions that we need to be able to make on how we can most effectively represent.
This liar, did she answer the question? Did she answer the question? Did she answer the question? Tell me, please. I want to know. She didn't answer shit.
One in the Congressional Black Caucus,
I'm
say to you not to run?
No, none of them asked me not to run. What the leadership, what Hakeem Jeffries and my CBC colleagues told me is that, they know I know our community, and Leader Jeffries trusts Democrats to be able to know our communities well enough to have reached out, done the important outreach necessary to be able to make the decisions that we need to be able to make on how we can most effectively represent.
Stephen Hunter Johnson, I'm hot. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome Attorney Stephen Hunter Johnson to the show. Well, very politically tied into the community, former 100 Black Men president of South Florida. Did she answer the question, Steve?
She mumbled her way through something, but she told us something. She said, I talked to them and they told her, run, Debbie, run. Ain't that what she said? Didn't she say, they told me, Speaker Jeffries, because she name-checked my fraternity brother, right? She said, Speaker Jeffries knows Democrats. And I said, wow, this is a far distance from the days of Vernon Jordan fighting to make space for Black power. But Debbie says that the entire Congressional Black Caucus is with her. That's what Debbie says. That's what she said on Jim DeFeedy's show.
So, in order for Jeffries to clean this up, he has to call her a liar. Did she put him in a position where he can't call her out, in your opinion?
I mean, you know, you actually pointed out something, which was, if you are the speaker and you are relying upon votes, they may come to you and they may say, I need you to make this sacrifice here and I got your back. They did that, if you'll remember, for our good brother Kendrick Meek back when Barack Obama was running against Hillary Clinton. And you'll remember, he stuck with Hillary through that primary. And in turn, those people said, okay, we're going to support you when you run for Senate. And you'll remember, the powers that be said, oh no, that's not going to happen. Charlie Crist is going to run as an independent, and the Democrats are going to split, and that Black man is never touching the Senate. That's how we got Marco Rubio.
Wow.
You were there. You remember. I remember.
I remember y'all.
Do you know the first fundraiser I ever threw for an elected official was Kendrick Meek for Senate? First time I've ever done one. And
the Clintons, I remember it clearly. And the Clintons came down and said, no, Kendrick, you don't run. We want to go in because Chris was the Republican governor at the time. Then he flipped over and he became independent. Then he jumped over and became Democrat. You don't run, Kendrick. You stand down. Hey, pull your camera. Yeah. Now we can see your face. We can cut your head off. So yeah. So you say that. So it's more than one time that the African American community have been sold out by the Democratic white powers that be for their control. So you said so you're saying that was the first time, now this is the second time?
That's the first time I remember, right? Because what was that, 2008, 2009? 2009. That's the first time I remember. I will tell you it's not the first time that Black political power has been sold out for party control. Because if you go back to Reconstruction right after the Civil War, right, when we sent Black U.S. senators and Black U.S. congressmen to Washington, D.C., the Republican Party said, whoa, we can't become the party of the Negro. We can't become the party of the Black people. And what did they do? They pushed those Black people out and allowed Jim Crow to walk on in. They called it the Lily White movement back then.
The Lily White movement.
There you go.
So Steve, you've been in politics for a very long time. Is this moment right now the most, like me, I think this is the most important moment for us as African Americans of deciding how we conduct ourselves in this, what you call the Democratic Party. I think this is a very important moment. How do you see this moment with Debbie Wasserman Schultz jumping into a Black Congressional District that has been held by a Black person for damn near 3 decades? How do you, what's your assessment of it all?
So very simply, after the Calais decision, and you hit it on the nail, you hit the nail on the head, Luke, we knew that Black political power in the South was at risk. Ron DeSantis comes out with the map with 4 blue pockets. 3 of those 4 were black seats. 3 of them. We talked about it. I said, this isn't a bad thing. It's sad for those people it's sad for, but for black political representation in Florida, it's not a sad thing. Because across the rest of the South, Louisiana, Alabama, everywhere else, black political representation is a threat. The Congressional Black Caucus is looking at losing 10 black members across the South. But I never figured that the Democratic Party would support losing 11 by telling Debbie Wasserman Schultz, go ahead and run in Congressional District 12, because Hakeem Jeffries told all of us that this was a DeSantis dummy mander and that Democrats were going to win more seats. You remember that press conference? I remember that press conference. He said it's a DeSantis dummy mander. Debbie Wasserman Schultz called him a liar right then and there and said, I don't know what you think it is. I'm going over here to CD20. That's what Debbie Wasserman Schultz said. Black people keep making a trade-off for blue political power and giving up black political power for blue political power. This election cycle, we need to make it clear to them we're not doing it anymore. Because I got enough to deal with Republicans attacking black political power. I don't need my so-called allies, our friends in the Democratic Party, telling black people, don't worry, I can take care of your issues. Because you know what? Something you said earlier, you and I both, we are well off. There is nothing in the world that my family needs or wants. But you just broke down better even than Debbie Wasserman Schultz could the anxieties, needs, and concerns of a young black man or a young black woman. Maybe they have a child, trying to find housing, trying to get a job, trying to find workforce, that workforce housing hustle, and being told you don't have enough paperwork to even apply for this apartment. That the politicians told you we built for you. Right? You know that. You know how you know that? Because you can't be a black professional and not understand the plight of black people. Because America doesn't let you anyway. We are always going to be tied with our communities. The good of our communities will always affect us, no matter how much money America deems our worth to be. And since I cannot escape my communities, I'm raising black children, you're raising black children, and they exist in black spaces, we never lose touch with the concept, the idea, the struggles. Because guess who gets those phone calls, Luke? You do. Yep. I do. We don't get to separate. And that's a good thing. By the way, you and I both know this. We don't want to separate. Our success is here for our people, right? And our community has a name for the people who do separate.
Yeah.
Which makes us a little bit different and a little bit more unique than any other community in America. That and that so-called black telepathy, I like to say. We all know what's going on when it's going on. But you were right, and you hit it on the nail on the head. Clearly, there's a whole bunch of people up in Washington that are prepared to make a trade of black political power for blue political power. And you and I both know what kind of betrayal that is, because they all got up there on the premise that I am here to preserve, maintain, and expand black political power.
Yeah. And you're correct, because when you look at it, when you look at what this is. This I always look at things, man, because I know I'm ran by God, and I'm always looking at things from His lens, and it's like, what is the lesson in this right here?
Mm-hmm.
And I look at it like this is a test. It's a beautiful test, because these are the things that me and you both we have arguments all day with guys. We're pushing the vote for Democrat, and they're pushing back saying the Democratic Party don't do this, and they have their argument, we have our argument, and we say no, but it's almost like the lesser of two evils. But I'm looking at it. I'm looking at this in a major way. I'm looking at this as being a great moment for us to do what Donald Trump and the MAGA party did to the Republican Party. You're black. It is what it is. The deal has been cut. She's running in this district. She has June. What is it? We all have June. What is it? June 11th. June 10th to qualify. She can say, no, I'm not going to do this. And everybody can say they're not going to do this. But I love this moment for us, so we can separate. We can separate those who are for us in this party and make it high time that if you're representing African Americans, because we control the Democratic Party, they don't win shit without black people. We need to understand our power. That's number one. We need to understand our power. MAGA understands their power in the Republican Party. That's why everybody stand the fuck down and they shut up whether they like it or not. Whether they're Ronald Reagan Republicans, but they know that these are Donald Trump Republicans, and this is a new day right here. We, as African Americans, need to take a stance right now. This is the party that we control, and get fucking control of the party. And the way you get control of this party right now is the powers that be, whether it's Hakeem Jeffrey or whoever it may be, need to tell this woman in her face, stand the fuck down.
Right. Their silence is complicity. And by the way, when you called out and you named them all, Jamil Hill, Stephen A., Roland Martin, everybody who has something to say about whether or not a young black athlete needs to sign with the SEC school because of black voting rights, and has nothing to say about whether or not Alcee Hastings' seat remains a position of black political power in the United States of America, is in on the play.
It's amazing.
In on the play.
It's amazing because like you say, on one hand, you're saying you're going after those states and those cities, rightfully so, and I agree. You're going after because they took black representation away, and then but you're silent. You're silent on black representation being taken away by an individual from the Democratic Party. I mean, what the fuck? And I know all these same people who name I call. Anytime I push back on the Democratic Party, I would get a call from one of them. Steve, and be like, Luke, man, come on, Luke. Or anytime any other entertainer push back on the Democratic Party, then they'll get on there and say they stupid as hell. They don't know nothing about. They need to stick to rapping. They need to stick to bouncing balls and all that there because we're so intelligent enough to know, because they have to make a decision because they're so entrenched with the Democratic Party and the Democratic way of life. This is a moment. This is a moment. I'm telling you, this is a moment brought to you by Debbie Wasserman Schultz. It's a major moment. I'm not hearing the bullshit. I'm telling you, I'm not hearing it. I'm not hearing it. I mean, Stephen A., we know he's all over the place. I'm going to call him as soon as I get off of here. I'm gonna say, hey man, you need to be on this. I'm gonna call Jamel Hill. Hey, where you at? Where you staying on this? But I ain't called nobody because I gave everybody the opportunity to enjoy their holiday. And I set my ass back and I sat there and I looked at Steve tweets, Leslie tweets, everybody, all the people going after Debbie and all that. I'm like, yeah, we got white people and black people going after her ass because they know it's wrong. But then when you look at it and you see these same people who jump on Donald Trump, who jump on everything, who jump on anybody, everybody's silent. Everybody got the zip lips. Mm-hmm. They all worrying about SEC schools. Where in a situation where these kids cannot transfer, what you should be doing is attacking. You should be attacking the ones who already committed to the school. That's a whole nother movie. And I don't want to get sidetracked off of that into that. Mm-hmm. But if you're really trying to do something to those schools, you then attack the ones who are committed, the ones who are going to those colleges now. And you say, no, you need to decommit and don't go there because at the end of the day, those kids, because of the new rules, they cannot transfer out of those schools. The transfer portal was only one time. So that's all bullshit conversation. If you go talk about we're not going to view the game, they don't give a shit anyway. Because the last time I checked, when you look in them stands, it ain't us. When you look in them press boxes, it ain't us. So affect them in the way that they need to be affected by asking those kids to decommit, but then you cannot go after those people and be hypocritical because you're a Democrat and it's okay for a white woman to erase a black seat. Where you got the black community, the local black caucus is screaming and hollering, and black people in the community, black pastors, and everybody like, no, don't run, lady, don't run. And she just said, fuck y'all. Mm-hmm. I got all the money. I got the big bank. I got all the backing of all of my PACs. And people, you need to understand this. Look at her financial account. Mm-hmm. Go into it. Find out those individuals who are putting money into our campaign because it's public record. And those are the companies you need to be boycotting. Hit them in the fucking pocket. Because I'm going to tell you right now, next week, they cooking it up right now. Those PACs who put money into a campaign, who gonna be like, yeah, this slanderous advertisement about Uncle Luke and about every other candidate in this race is paid for by the PAC for the people. But you're going after the candidates. We've been running a nice, clean race. But it's getting ready to get dirty, and I want all y'all to know, because the dirt and the mudslinging is not going to be for the African Americans, because most of the African Americans in this race got less than $500,000. They don't have that kind of money to be mudslinging each other. Mm-hmm. Only person got that type of money to come and buy a seat because she felt like the last lady who had this seat, who resigned, bought this seat. I got my money, Steve. I got my money on black people. I got my money on white people, and for white people, and for the white people, the audacity to think that, yeah, I got 20%. Is the district is 20% white people and 15% Hispanic. I know they finna vote for me. They ain't gonna vote for no black person over white. Y'all, they should feel some kind of way, don't you think? White people should feel some kind of way.
I think everybody should be insulted by it, right? Here's what she's doing. She is saying, okay, I'm going to take my $2.5 million of my real money plus my, don't forget this, maybe $9, $10, or $11 million of PAC money, and I'm going to enter this race. And I want to say bad things about everybody, but my hands are clean. I didn't say it. I didn't do it. So you can't call me anti-black. And I'm going to just run around and kiss babies in safe spaces. I'm not going to come talk to you. I'm not going to sit down and debate anybody. I'm just going to run TV ads and hope the rest of the district doesn't care. And I think that's why it's so important that you raise this issue beyond Congressional District 20, beyond Broward County, beyond Florida, because I've never seen a world where an entire Black caucus of Broward County, Florida Legislative Black Caucus, can't get a phone call with this ally, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and ask, hey, let's talk about this. And I've never seen a situation where this much blatant anti-Blackness is going on, where also, and Luke, you know this, there's no white voice on this. Shout out to Billy Corbin. Billy Corbin was the first person I saw to say, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, what you're doing is wrong.
Shouts out to Billy
Shout
Corbin.
out to Billy Corbin. I don't see the rest of them. Nobody cares about what the Broward Democratic Black Caucus said, about what the Florida Legislative Black Caucus said, about what you and me and everybody else on the ground in Broward is saying. I had someone tell me, well, Debbie has to have some Black support. She got slammed in her announcement video. Where's that Black support?
Speaking of Black support, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to let y'all see the piece that Channel 7 did on her. There we go.
People of Broward County my whole adult life.
Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz announcing her run for re-election in a new campaign video focusing on some familiar themes.
Did anyone in the Congressional Black Caucus
care
or
about
say
health
to
care.
you,
Oh, we got a glitch.
However,
you got a glitch. You got two.
Her
There
home
you go.
district, 25, encompassing much of West Broward, including Weston and Pembroke Pines, all but obliterated by redistricting last month, where a cluster of districts that lean Democrat were reduced from 8 to 4.
They blew our districts to smithereens in Broward County.
So Wasserman Schultz is now running in District 20, which encompasses most of central Broward, including Sunrise, Fort Lauderdale, north to parts of Pompano Beach and Deerfield Beach. This district is more than 40% Black. Her old district, less than 20%.
She cannot be a member of the Congressional Black Caucus. She's not from this community, and there's no getting around that.
Corey Shearer, president of the Broward Democratic Black Caucus, says the district has a long history of Black representation, sending Alcee Hastings to Washington in the early 90s, followed by Sheila Shurflis McCormick. And despite the group's political alignment with Wasserman Schultz, he says this seat is the wrong fit.
She will just be a candidate if people feel she's too big to fail, or if she, of all the work that she's done, she's just going to be a candidate going up against candidates who are from our community.
And the field is large, with 7 Democrats running in the primary for this seat.
I would hope that she would have chosen to travel and to fight in that district, similar to what Hakeem Jeffries said that we would do, is fight in some of these new Republican districts.
People know me. They know I show up for them. They know I have their back, and they know I have the experience to deliver results.
Man.
Steve, and for people around the country, I wanted to show that piece that Channel 7 did on her, so you can get the sentiments of, because me and Steve are saying one thing, you can get the sentiment of the community. You heard it right there. Black Caucus leader.
The brother who runs the caucus, he's a good Democrat. He fights for Democrat ideals. You could tell, you could look at his face and tell how hurt he was, brother.
Yeah. You're going to get, Steve, it is people, I go through this district, right? I go through this district and we're all campaigning. And I listen to these people and the things that they want and the things that they've been shorted of. You look at some of these congressmen and congresswomen who've been sitting in these seats for a very, very long time. They could have got some of these things done. This woman needs, expanding the port, creating 6-figure jobs is very easy. Expanding the airport. Easy, built by us for us. bringing jobs, high-paying jobs back into the community. Working with different industries. We know you as a congressman, you can't partner with nobody, but you do encouraging things within the district to create better opportunities. None of these people did none of that.
Nope.
You can create, you have property, major property, land just sitting there waiting for the developer. They gave one piece of land, it's 120 acres, and they gave 19 acres for a developer to build so-called workforce housing. When meanwhile, you can do similar to what they did in Jersey and give a tax credit, because we know the state is not going to give. You can give a federal tax credit for movie studios to bring studios, and then now people have high-paying union jobs. It is so simple, Steve. It's so simple. We are sitting there, people in this district and this whole goddamn state is sitting there. A lot of people retired because this is a retirement state. This is a retirement district. People are sitting there right now, Steve, with these same people who've been in office, and the damn insurance is out the roof because of hurricanes. Well, by the way, they say they gutted FEMA, so June through November is hurricane season, but you could create subsidies to help pay for this, to help reduce the cost of this insurance. I'm sitting there, just like you say, me and you sitting there, we okay regardless. We are okay. But we are the type of people, because we okay, we want to help other people, because we jump into things where it's like, yo, man, my expertise, my vision, my thought process, let me try and help these. I'm sitting there like, you go into this district and you see people talking about, man, this damn insurance is killing me. I'm a house paid for, but the damn insurance is damn near mortgage.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I can't afford to stay here because, again, the cost of living in South Florida is out of control. We already know it. We know it. The average income, there's no Fortune 500 companies. So the Fortune 500 companies that we have to either create them. We have to either create those jobs. And one thing about Broward County was so beautiful. I mean, I've been living here 15 years, but when you go into, it's restaurants, it's bars, it's nightclubs, it's a lot different than Dade County. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's bars, it's restaurants, it's mom and pop stores, and all this. It ain't no goddamn. It ain't none of these other people little restaurants running around the neighborhood. No, it is a vibrant city with homeowners and people average income of $60,000, but then still they got to deal with this bullshit of the insurance. And they people, I'm out there with the people in the park, and you got all kinds of entrepreneurs in the park. They got the cakes and they baking, they got their purses, and they selling their stuff, and they inspired to want to own a business. And you have opportunity as a congressman or congresswoman to infuse cash and money into a district to do that. So Debbie Wasserman Schultz and all them can't tell me. Nobody could tell me that they really gives a fuck about black people. When black people, we don't want no handout. And so you want to go and represent this district so you can be powerful and take over hockey? No, come on. This lady, Stephen, this the other one. This what really got me, because I always sit back like, what the fuck are you doing, Lou? You know, you got 3 businesses, you have a child, you can go, the child get ready to go to college, you get ready to go into your retirement years, you can go and just lay on the fucking beach and just relax for the rest of your years and just chill and travel. it's like, what are you doing? So it reminds, when I go into the district, it's like, it reminds me, no, this is what the fuck I need to be doing. I'm trying to help these people. And it is because the ones, think about it. Congresswoman from Massachusetts got TPS bill passed in the House. Went over across the aisle, talked to some Republicans, got about 6 votes. She got TPS temporarily put on hold. Now we know it has to go to the Senate, and they got to do the same thing in the Senate. Somebody got to carry the bill in the Senate. And we already know, even if it gets passed in the Senate, it got to go to Donald Trump to sign it. We know he's not going to sign it. But I look at that, Steve, and I say, all these folks that are on TPS in South Florida, not no Jerry Moskowitz, who all of a sudden he on the picture screaming like he a black now. He running around talking about the SEC and all that. Not one of them carried a bill carried that same bill the African-American woman carried. Now, maybe they co-sponsor, maybe Sheila co-sponsored, but co-sponsoring and sponsoring is 2 different things. And that's my point. These people around here don't care about the community, because if you care enough about the community, you know, in Belgrade and Pahokee, and you know in Riviera Beach, and you know in Broward County, there's a large Haitian community. You know this man pointing out Haitians. You know, and you know just the other day, you ain't even clap back at fucking Carlos Jimenez when he was clapping back at the Prime Minister of Jamaica. They weren't even clapping. None of them said nothing.
Nobody cared.
Nobody said nothing. And you want to run in a fucking Jamaican community? Really? Is that what we do? Nobody clapped back at none of the people. The Prime Minister of Jamaica is saying, yo, hey, look, he's saying whatever he's saying. And then now Carlos Jimenez want to hop his hot ass up, Republican from Miami-Dade County, and he wants to clap back at the Prime Minister of Jamaica. And here we are in a Jamaican district. Nobody said nothing. We're in a predominantly Jamaican Haitian district. Nobody carried a bill to stop TPS. Really? Right. And you want to fucking macho ass up in here and cape like you, oh yeah, the black community loves me and they always love me. I always supported them. At what point? At what point, Debbie? You see, you know, this ain't no, again, that Steve, they think they're dealing with a little boy or a career politician, or they think they're dealing with somebody desperate or something like that. No, you dealing with a well individual, because when you go into the district and you look at what have you done, I would not be, Steve, you know me, you know me better than anybody. I would not be in this race if I thought somebody was qualified to do the right thing for these people, because when I look at this rich community, it is very important for this community. Because they're being gentrified. When you ride your ass down Sistrunk, you can see it coming.
Right.
You can see it coming. You got the pinks over there. They done sold the pinks. They said, well, I'm like looking at, you know, because I look at the government housing projects, and I'm like, okay, the pinks over here. Yeah, they just sold the pinks for $24 million. And I'm thinking, you just sold the pinks for $24 million. Or they did a little bit of something here. No. We know what they did with Liberty Square housing projects when they sold that. You're going to be out of there. They're just chilling. They waiting for the right time to strike. Soon as you sleep, every governmental housing, because again, you looking, it is too close. You look at Pompano Beach, it is too close to the ocean. That's valuable property. When you look at Deerfield Beach, that is valuable property. That they need to move here. And they're doing it, but at the same time, and then you need to look at the demographics of individuals who are moving in Palm Beach and Broward County.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give y'all that homework to do.
Mm-hmm.
Steve,
Hey.
I'm gonna give them that. I'm gonna give everybody that homework to do right there. Because it's amazing, but the great part about it, when you see a lot of white young men and women going back after
to
them.
run in a district that you don't even live in? Because I'm genuinely trying to understand your logic here. Florida's 20th district has a long history of Black representation. There are people that actually live in the community that have spent years organizing, campaigning, building relationships, showing up for the residents and doing the work. And despite people bringing their concerns to you multiple times, you decided that you're the one that needs to throw your name into this race. Why? Like, I need establishment Democrats to start explaining to me why they think they are entitled to communities instead of the other way around. Because this comes across as you believe that your name recognition and your connections matter more than the voices of people who actually live in that district. And before people start with the, well, technically she's allowed to run there, I know, that's not the point. The point is, why would you want to? Why are you so unwilling to represent your own community that you feel the need to run in a historically Black district just to maintain your political power? Because shit like this is exactly why people feel disconnected from the Democratic Party. You cannot preach about representation, uplifting communities, and protecting democracy while you're simultaneously parachuting into a district you were never part of because you believe that you deserve that seat more than the people that actually live there. That's not representation, Debbie. That's entitlement.
Man, Lou, let me tell you now, that's a powerful message. But all from now to August, there are a lot of candidates for senator, for U.S. senator, for governor. I can't imagine they would stay silent. I can't imagine that. Because we have, 17 days for her to make a decision. And by the way, life is not too late. She can hop over to 22 and do what it is that other people asked her to do. Because that's the other thing, right? Because it's a podcast. So the flip side will be, well, she had no choice. No. Hakeem Jeffries told us all this map was a dummy, was DeSantis dummy-mander. Congressional District 22 needs somebody with $2.5 million and a $10 million PAC to win it. And name recognition. She just needs to put her sneakers on and knock some doors. She doesn't want to. She doesn't want to. She'd rather steal Alcee Hastings' seat, the late Alcee Hastings' seat. And I'm gonna say something controversial on the Luke Show. This is Sheila's fault. Because Sheila shouldn't have had that seat either. But she did. She did. And she didn't do anything with that seat when she had it. But that's what happens when you elect a Baltimore Ravens fan to represent you down here. It is what it is. Listen, I'm an Eagles fan. I'm not running for nothing in Miami-Dade County. Right? But at least I live here. But all of that is aside from the point. The point I'm raising is this. After all that district has gone through, Debbie should have left it alone, and the rest of Black America should be looking at it saying, wait a minute, what's happening here? And you mean to tell me a Democrat who used to run the DNC under Barack Obama is the person doing it? No, that's wrong. I would never expect that from my ally. The real question is, ask her what she's ever done for the Black community. The answer is nothing. And the reason why, Luke, you and I know that is, we get asked all the time, what have Democrats done for the Black community? And a lot of people have a lot of trouble answering that. So I know Debbie has no answer for that.
Steve, I earlier in the show, I had this conspiracy theory, in my opinion, that the deal was cut by Jared Moskowitz and her with Ron DeSantis because Jared Moskowitz worked for Ron DeSantis, and when the maps were drawing up, they needed to give Debbie a pathway to have a possible chance to win this district by taking River Beach out of it, taking Belgrade, taking Pahokee, taking South Bay out of it, taking 5 black cities out of this district, reducing the number to 10%, adding a couple of her cities like Coral Springs, a few of her people into the district to bring the numbers where she would have a pathway to win. And I think in my deranged mind that they cut the deal with Ron DeSantis because Jared and Ron DeSantis is good friends, and let's keep it a buck. They merged Jared and Debbie's district, but why they ain't running against each other?
So
they don't want to bring up religion in it. Why they ain't running against each other? So then my conspiracy theory spider sense go to saying that, oh, we know they ain't gonna run against because they ain't gonna do it to each other.
Right.
They're not going to, hey, look, let's keep it a buck. Black people do it to black people, but Jewish people ain't get ready to do it to each other. Look, and I love my Jewish brothers and sisters at the same time. Fuck that. So that wasn't even a thought that they were going to run against each other. So knowing that was the case, so they had to give Ron DeSantis an olive branch and say, Ron, I would not take these $15 million, these $2 million in cash money that I got on hand and take that 22 seat that is vulnerable, that Joe Biden won by 5%. I'm not going to take that seat. I'm not going to run it because it's a vulnerable seat. And I know Donald Trump approval ratings are down to 30%. I can take that seat. And I can do the noble Democratic thing and flip a Republican seat. Meanwhile, we know for a fact that it's no way possible a Democrat can lose this Congressional District 20 seat. We know for a fact it's 70% Democrats and 20 or 30% Republicans. You can't lose that motherfucker. I don't care if you run a dog in that race over there. But then the deal is, oh, we're not going to run in 22, so you merge this. You take away those 4 black cities to give me a pathway to winning in this district. And and on top of it, if I win the primary, all the black people are going to be upset, and all the black men are going to do what? Vote for Byron Donald. Yeah. And then at the same time, if I win this seat, I get to go to Washington with 7 removed black congressional seats. And when I run against Hakeem Jeffrey for Speaker of the House, I win. Oh, that's some great shit, Debbie. Steve, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking a little too much because again, it goes to if you're a real hardcore card carrying. Listen. If I had $15 million in PAC money and I had $2 million cash on hand right now, I would be running in 22. I would be running in 22. I would be running. Hey, man, Luke got 2. They just put, man, shit. They call it Luke got 20. Luke got $3 million cash money and he has $15 million in PAC money. I'm over there at 22 because I know this is a lie. It don't make no sense. This is a lie. But I got to cut the deal with the devil. And that deal is, oh, here we go. Because I know the media down here, Jim DeFeedy and all the rest of them, they're going to be, oh, yeah, Debbie got all the money. Y'all should all go sit down. And you're going to have Jim DeFeedy and you're going to have the people on Channel 7 and all. I got the media on lock. Whatever I feed them, because again, this is a very, very important moment because white media is going to support her. Everybody except Glenn Milberg. I'm going to move Glenn Milberg over here. But the rest of them, they're going to support her. And they're going to run around and start talking about the money. But at the end of the day, it's the people. I'm betting on these people in Broward. I'm betting on the whites, the Hispanics, the blacks, and all of them not to go for this okie doke and retire this lady. at the end of the day, I'm really betting on them. I don't care how many people in the race. I mean, people keep saying right now, and put your strategy hat on. With all the black folks in the race, in the perfect world, would you prefer all the African Americans in this race to run against Debbie, or the African Americans go in the room and say, "Hey, look here, man, let's make a decision, and we're gonna run against her one-on-one"? What's your opinion of that? Because that's a floating thing.
You are a kindly gentleman, because you know full well I do not like letting Debbie know what happens next. But Debbie needs to understand that Broward County's Black community is more organized, collectivized, and motivated than Debbie thinks. And so do you not think that at some point the Black people in this race who care about the Black community and the preservation, maintenance, and expansion of Black political power can't count just as well as Debbie can count? Hey, Luke, here's something Debbie doesn't want you to know. The registered Democrats in that district, I'm going to say it again, the registered Democrats in that district are overwhelmingly Black. So, in the primary, if it's Debbie, Black folks need to have a say. And I'll be honest with you, I don't care who you are and how much weight your name carries. Black folks have been asking when you leave the room anyway, well, what have these Democrats done for us that I should expect that one there, Debbie, to do anything for me? You know, Sheila, let me real fast say this about missed opportunities and why they matter. Sheila was the first Haitian American congresswoman out of South Florida. And you and I are both good friends of the Haitian community and know the Haitian community well. And she went up to Washington when Haiti didn't have an ambassador. She was up in Washington when Joe Biden decided who Haiti's leadership would be. She didn't even do what I would have expected her to do, which is to assert the thoughts, wishes, and whims of the considerable Haitian American community here in South Florida. That's what I'm talking about when I say you can't keep sending people that make you feel good. You need to start sending people that make the other folks feel scared. Nothing. Now Donald Trump is in charge of it. What has changed for Haiti? Nothing. But Sheila had to leave office. She ain't speak up when Donald Trump got elected. Then what do we do? So when we have the sit down, that's what matters. And I'm not saying that we having to sit down. I'm saying that Debbie needs to understand that Broward's a lot more organized than Debbie thinks.
I want to play a clip that Joy Reid, when Joy Reid spoke about when it came to, I guess it was about a week or two ago when the gerrymandering of the map and we were losing Black representation. And she was speaking to Republicans and to the people. Check this clip out right here.
Me of a white conservative representing Black people, and how are those Black people faring? We found only one district where there was even 20% of the district is Black. And you know whose district that is, Waj? Speaker Mike Johnson. Speaker Mike Johnson is one of the few rare white conservatives who has even 20% of his district that's Black. You know how they were doing? His district is one of the 20 poorest districts in the country. It has an 18% poverty rate. It has a median income lower than the median income in the United States as a whole. It's one of the poorest, most difficult places to live in America. And he's the Speaker of the House. So the experiment has been run, at least for the Speaker. And there's no evidence that white conservatives will do a damn thing for Black people economically, educationally, where they're chasing us out of college. They don't want us to be able to go to Harvard. They don't want our businesses to be able to even give each other grant money to grow. We are less than 1% of those who get tech investments, and yet we get sued if we try to give each other investment money like they were sued. That one group was sued for doing that. We're not wanted in federal jobs. They want to kick us out of that. They don't want us to get small business grants. They're saying that's racist to give us that. So we're all Black. So Mike Johnson is the human example of what it looks like when Black people are forced to be represented by white conservatives. It never goes well. And so now what they're saying is all of these 52% of African Americans live in the South. And they're now saying they get to have what? No members of Congress representing them. They just better be happy with and shut the fuck up and accept that it's going to be white conservatives representing your interests. How do you think that's going to work out? Not well.
Hey,
I'm trying to find, is there, so she kept saying conservative, but she kept saying white. Mm-hmm. So is there a district where white Democrats represent a large minority Black district and they did something for them?
My brother, there is a district I can think of right at the top of my head. Representative Steve Cohen is the only Democratic congressperson out of the state of Tennessee. Shout out to Justin Pearson, who thought he was running to replace him. Representative Steve Cohen has had that seat since Harold Ford Jr. left office 20 some odd years ago. He represents Memphis, Tennessee. Now, you mean to tell me,
and we know what's going on in Memphis.
You mean to tell me that Memphis, Tennessee,
I did not know that. You didn't ruin my Saturday.
Memphis, Tennessee. You mean to tell me that Memphis, Tennessee had no other talent with a vision for what that district could look like? Well, we don't have to worry about it now because the state of Tennessee said, you don't want that. We're going to carve it up 3 ways. So now Memphis, Tennessee is going to have not 1, not 2, but 3 Congress people representing it.
So you're telling me all this time, a white person was the representative for Black Memphis, Tennessee in Congress?
Yeah, I guess Steve Cohen is going to come down here and give Debbie some pointers on how to get it. There is a difference, though. There's a significant difference. The difference between Debbie Wasserman Schultz colonizing District 20 and Steve Cohen representing Memphis, Tennessee is at least Memphans knew him because what the area he represented prior to going to Congress was right there in the middle of Memphis, Tennessee. That's a difference. The only thing the rest of Congressional District 20 knows about Debbie is her name. Because if people start looking into her history and all the reports of Barack Obama only speaking to her when they were in photo lines together, when she was running the DNC, and her history when she had to resign from the DNC because they got caught cheating in favor of Hillary Clinton, which, by the way, was a lot of turmoil in 2016 when Hillary Clinton was running against who? the current president of the United States, Donald J. Trump. So, I mean, if people start looking at the history of these people, whose names they know well, it starts becoming indefensible, right? I had someone say, oh, well, she's going to be the chairman of the House Appropriations Committee. To do what? So wait, so she going to come down here with a big check for Sis Trump? No, that's not how that works. And here's another one. And who in the barbershop cares about the House Appropriations Committee? But you know who does care? Them lobbyists, right? The people who make money off of Congress care. The people who are supposed to be served by Congress, they don't care. And aren't you supposed to be going up there to serve the people?
Yeah, and that's the part that's so amazing. Here's another young fella had a lot to say about Debbie Wasserman, and I'm showing the video of these white folks who are appalled.
Recent Supreme Court ruling are poised to eliminate black seats across the South. Debbie Wasserman Schultz should not help them do it. Debbie Wasserman Schultz is attempting to carpetbag her way into replacing black political representation in Florida's 20th Congressional District. Established in 1992 under provisions of the Voting Rights Act, black Floridians were able for the first time since Reconstruction to elect a black political representative to Congress. And for the last 34 years, that's how it's been. Debbie Wasserman Schultz has also been in office since 1992, and in that time, we have seen the collapse of the Florida Democratic Party under her watch. What gives Debbie Wasserman Schultz the right, after presiding over these failures, to sidle on up to the safest Democratic seat in South Florida? And why does she think she's more entitled to this seat than the many qualified black candidates that have been running for it since the election began? Wasserman Schultz is testing the waters with polling and a congressional town hall scheduled for this coming Monday. We need to make it clear, a white incumbent with $2.5 million in their campaign war chest, funded primarily by the same corporate PACs that have made voters lose faith in the Democratic Party, is the last person that black Floridians deserve representing them in the 20th District. If Debbie Wasserman Schultz believes so strongly that her brand of corporate centrism is the recipe for Democrats to win tough races, then she should prove it by running to flip one of these new Republican-tinged districts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hey, Luke, let me ask you a question. When you need you're a coach. When you need to win a game, because you're down by 3, and you need about 20 yards, you gonna put in the inexperienced player, or you gonna put in the player who you know best? The one that's been there, the one that's been with you that whole time.
I'm gonna put in the player that I could trust.
That's right. If the Democrats are down by 20, and they need 20 yards to take back the House, then Debbie should have took her ass over to Congressional District 22. Because that's the strongest fighter, right? Biggest war chest, biggest name.
This is amazing. For the people in the chat that like who is Debbie Wasserman Schultz, just so you know, a recap of what we had. She's a white congressional elected official. She decided to run in a predominantly African-American district, Congressional District 20. She's actually running against me and 4 other candidates for the seat, for a black seat. Her district was merged with another Jewish candidate, Jared Moskowitz. She decided she wanted to run in the black district. She decided she did not want to run in the Republican district. That kind of took some of her folks that she could have ran in that district, where, Joe Biden won that district by 4%. And as we know, Donald Trump numbers are real low. She decided not to run in that district, decided to run in a predominantly black district, where it's basically a layup. Whoever wins the primary win the general, because just like Steve said earlier, it's over 12,000 Democrats black Democrats in this district, where black Democrats are at 54%, 55% of the electorate in that district, and whites are 20% and Hispanics are 15%. So Debbie just going in there with her arrogance to say, oh yeah, I'm going to get all the white people and I'm going to get all the Hispanic people and I'm going to buy some of the black people. All I need to do is get the 30% and I win this primary with all my millions and billions of dollars. I get to do that and I'm going to go, erase another black seat. We expected more out of her. She was the Democratic Party chair under Barack Obama. And now we know why Barack Obama ain't had shit to say to her. Maybe it was because when Trump pulled out those Hillary Clinton emails, I heard that her and Hillary did have some conversations about Michelle. So I don't know. That's a whole nother story there for another time, because this is not going to be the last show that we have on Miss Debbie Wasserman Schultz. And so at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, I say this is a very important moment for Black history. I say that we all call out all of our elected officials in the Congressional Black Caucus, all the ones who do not denounce her for doing this. We put them in a bag and we say, these are the individuals that you, whether you're in Peoria, Illinois, or whether you're in Washington, or you're in Nebraska, wherever you are at, you don't vote for those African Americans, or you don't vote for those Democrats who don't call her out. And that go for whites and blacks. Because if you look at what Donald Trump and Steve Bannon did to the Republican Party, they said either you with MAGA or we will replace you. Either you with African Americans in this moment in time, or we will replace you. And that's where we at. That's why I love what she did. She gave us an opportunity to find out who's really with us. White people, white Democratic leaders, and black ones. She's brought this to the floor, and it ain't gonna get swept though. It ain't gonna get swept up under the rug, because I have faith in everybody that's looking at this broadcast and everybody that will continue looking at this broadcast to say, hey man, we ain't gonna stand for this. That's where we at. That is where we're at. We can't stand for this. I mean, black, white, purple, again, everybody in this Democratic Party need to call her out for this. This is wrong. This is absolutely wrong. I mean, if the numbers were 50-50 in the district, they couldn't even gerrymander. Moskowitz couldn't even tell his homeboy Ron DeSantis he could not cut no more off of this district without going into the actual district to give it a pathway for her to win. He couldn't even do it. They couldn't even do it. There was no way for them. They couldn't no more. They cut what they needed to cut off. They put those people in Belgrade and Pahokee, and I hurt for them people. They put them people in Riviera Beach in a bad situation. They're being represented by somebody who do not look like them. They already got a water problem. And Riviera Beach is like Flint, Michigan, people. They're balling the water. Go look at the stories. They need federal assistance to rebuild a water plant that, again, the last Congress lady didn't do. Didn't get done. Tamarack is getting ready to be in the same situation. They one storm away from balling their water because their water plants are 100 years old also. Then you got Belgrade, Pahokee, and South Bay, who are now in mega country. They're represented by mega. And like she just said, mega is not finna fund those people in Belgrade, Pahokee. They've been decimated by the sugar factories being tore down. Not tore down, but the sugar factories going automated and saying, oh, well, the robots and this shit automated. We don't need no people in the community to develop to cut the cane and do what the machines are doing. So them people over there, the last major store left, they only have a Dunkin' Donuts left. That's the only thing left in that place. Where all those people are sitting there, you got some migrant workers still, doing the tomatoes and all that, but they closed down the prison. They could have they didn't have to build Alligator Alcatraz. They could have reopened the prison in Belgrade, Pahokee. They could have reopened that prison. That prison, a lot of people worked in that prison. Not to say they would need to be opening a damn prison anyway to be putting more people in, but they went and took people in the state taxpaying dollars and built a goddamn prison when you had one in Belgrade's Bogey. But again, that would have been doing what? Putting money in the pockets, back in the pockets, because a lot of people worked in the prison. Them people homeless and shit over there. Them people suffering over there. They have so much land. They're eating off the land. They're going to the lake. You got to see it. It's like some shit out of a, but they're proud people. And I love them for being proud. They go to the lake. The rabbits run. The rabbits, when they burn the cane, the rabbits run. They still go get the rabbits before they get in the lake. They go to the lake and they do what? They fish. They're eating off the fucking land. That is 30 minutes away from my house. That is 30 minutes away from my house. And Ron DeSantis, Ron DeSatan, put them people for political purposes in a district where mega controlled, where they will not do anything for the people. Hell, you had Democrats running the damn city. So when I went around looking at these cities and looking at the things that need to be done and how we could straighten up these places, then this asshole and this woman here and all of them go back in the back room because you want to be the Speaker of the House. Gerrymandered the map, and them people over there crying. Them people over there hurting. They don't know what the fuck to do. And so it is bad for more reasons than one, man. Listen, man. Listen. I'm just saying, Steve, this right now, in this moment right now, if us, we don't take a stance and we don't got to do nothing. All we got to do is look at the Democrats who call Debbie Wasserman Schultz out for the shit that she's doing. This is the moment. This is the moment. Look at them and say, hell, here we go. All right, we'll see you on election day. Run our people, knowing with the understanding that they're not going to have the same amount of money as the incumbent, because the incumbent is just like Debbie Wasserman Schultz. They got millions and millions of dollars in PAC money. They're going to have millions of dollars in cash. But then, no, stick to the core of the individual and replace these people. I'm telling you. You know, yeah, Mega, they had money. They had Elon Musk and a whole bunch of other money boys to put money on in them races. We ain't going to have that. But that's what we got to do. Election day will be here, people. But I love it, Steve. Hey, man, I want to thank you for joining me on the show, man. You enjoyed yourself?
Man, this is my first time, so it won't be my last time. You know, when you got me, when you need me, you got me.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, man. I did invite Elijah. I don't know if he got the text. You know, I was like saying to myself, you know, I want to be nice. I want to be nice today. This is Memorial Day. And
you mean to tell me that you invited Elijah Manley to join you, your opponent, to join you to talk about Dixiecrat Debbie?
Yes.
Now, by the way,
Debbie does District 20. So her name is going to be Debbie does District 20, but then her name is Debbie DeSantis.
That Debbie DeSantis is right, but if only because Debbie DeSantis is the only DeSantis that anybody can talk to me about right now. Ron DeSantis isn't trying to deprive Black people of another seat. Debbie DeSantis is. That's it.
That's it. I mean,
you can't talk to me about no Republican if you got Debbie DeSantis trying to take over Congressional District 20. You can't do it with any credibility, that's for sure.
You're right about that. Hey, ladies and thank you, Steve Hunter, my good friend. Make sure y'all check out Steve. He's on Twitter. He's everywhere. And what's your handle on Twitter where they can follow you?
Stephen H. Johnson, STEPHEN H. Johnson, JOHNSON.
Hey, man, y'all make sure y'all check him out. Follow him on Twitter. He has a lot of colorful things to say. Peace, my brother. I appreciate you. Love you.
Hey, man, talk to you, Lou.
Yep. Hey, man, listen, man, great show. Great show. But before I leave, I don't want to scare you all. I just saw this online and I just thought it was interesting.
Drones. And the communist government of Cuba recently began discussing plans to potentially use those drones to attack U.S. targets.
The drones are concerning one sourced by both Russia and Iran. Would Cuba make the fundamental mistake of attacking the United States? It would be their doom.
Something you have to take seriously. You know that they have, and there's reports that Iranian, people have come to the country and are teaching.
Is that something we should be concerned about? Cuba having drones? I mean, we live in Florida. We'd be the first one they can get. I know y'all saying what you talk about, Willis. But then in other news, we had old Jackson Dart.
Towards Donald Trump, Abdul Carter is pissed off, and the Giants fan base are losing their mind. Let's break down the last 24 hours in Giants land. Carter was asked to introduce Donald Trump to the stage, and it's safe to say that most people were not very happy about this. First off, you had Dart's own teammate Abdul Carter go on X and ask if this shit was AI and what are we doing here, man? Safe to say that's going to be.
That's something we'll be talking to Streeter about later on this week. There's a lot of things going on. A lot of things going on. But I want to remind everybody, look here, I want you to go, if you live in Broward County, make sure you stop by this. If I'm going to make sure I attend this right, the NWCP, because I want you to send me, ask me to come by. I'll be here. Show. About the decision. Look, pretty sure all the candidates will be there. At the time, ladies and gentlemen, again, hey, look, you want to be supportive of the campaign? Go to my website, www.luthercampbellforcongress.com. We're going to be talking about this and more throughout the week. We normally do our show Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I want to thank you all for being on here. I want to thank Stephen Hunter Johnson for being on here. We had an excellent time, and I hope you all. This, like I say, this is a moment. This should be a moment in history, because when you think about it, don't let this moment pass you. Don't let it pass you under no circumstances, because look at your kids. What legacy are we going to be leaving for them? What will be leaving for them? Yes, I know. Look, I'm going out there on the limb. I'm keeping it a buck. I know they're gonna attack me. I know they're coming. It's inevitable that they come after me. Yes, they are gonna come after me. They're gonna run my ass up and down the highway, because those PACs who want this lady in office, when you have an outspoken individual, they send everything that law allows. But I'm willing to stand on the wall for my people. I got no problem with that. I'm willing to stand on the wall. You heard a lot about in this show about how much money she has. And it takes money to win races. Look, I'm in this race. We need money. There are other people in this race. And I'm here to tell you, if you have a candidate in this race that you feel comfortable with, make African-American candidate in this race that you feel comfortable with, look, make campaign contributions, because we're going to need it. We're dealing with Godzilla and King Kong. Godzilla with $2 million in a war chest, cash money. King Kong with $15 million in PAC money. $15 million in PAC money. And let me say this here. And I'm gonna get the little lady, the Broward County School Teachers Union president. I'm gonna get you in the week, because you went out there in Debbie Wasserman Schultz speech and you endorsed her. In her opening statement, while she pandered, I forget what the lady name is, you went out there and you spoke for all these Broward County teachers. you endorsed her as the Broward County, in my opinion, Broward County leader of the teachers union. When you never spoke to me, you never spoke to any other candidate, you never had a vote with all the Broward Teachers Association to make a determination as to who they're going to support. This is the dirty shit that Debbie does. And the people surrounding her. So I forget what her name is. Somebody put her name in the chat. This lady actually is on the fucking video, on her opening video. I'm the teachers union, the head of the teachers union of Broward County, and I'm supporting Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Meanwhile, it don't work like that. Don't get fooled, people. It don't work like that. No. Each candidate go and meet with the union and meet with the representative. There's a panel, there's a questionnaire. You write down on the questionnaire, and then what you do is they take the panel and then they pose it to the union, to the teachers, and the teachers then vote on who they want to support in the race. That lady just said, fuck that. On the day that this lady announced, really? I'll take care of her. Just y'all can tell her Cap D is coming for her. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your week. We'll be having more conversations on this issue and more, because this is the Luke Show, and we keep it a buck. We keep it 100, 1,000. And you know what? Let me just say this. Y'all tell Debbie she's more than welcome to come on here. I love to have her. I would love to have her. Debbie, you can come on here. Anytime you want to have a conversation about the Black community, you are more than welcome to come on here. You have an open invitation anytime you want to do it. If you want to get on this show at 2 o'clock in the morning, I will turn this motherfucker on, and me and you will have a conversation about the Black community. That's what I keep it a G. I keep it a buck. So y'all run and tell her, you're more than welcome to come on here, Debbie. It won't be no ambush. It'll just be me and you. I don't think you're ready for that smoke. It'll be me and you, Debbie. You have an open invitation, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, to come on here and have a healthy conversation with me about how you're better suited to represent Black people in Congressional District 20 in Broward County over me and every other candidate. I welcome you to come on this show, Debbie. That's the type of person I am. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's my show. I want to thank you all, everybody on Twitter. We will be replaying this show, and anytime that you want to see any of my shows that I put on here, you can always go to my YouTube channel, Uncle Luke TV, and you can see all the shows, the archives there. You can see them in their entirety. Along with this show, it'll be consistently replayed throughout the week, all the way up until the time we do another show. So again, hey, shouts out to all my people on Facebook. Shouts out to all my people on YouTube. Shouts out to my people over there on Twitter and Instagram. That's Uncle Luke Real One. Instagram and Twitter, Twitch, Uncle Luke TV on YouTube. Make sure you go like, share, subscribe, follow me, Uncle Luke, over there on my fan page. I love you all. This is going to be a very exciting week. Don't go for the okie doke. I'm just saying. I love you all. Hey, in the words of the old Walter Cronkite, may the good news this week be yours. And again, happy Memorial Day for all the soldiers, all the people who laid their life, put their life on the line, and all the families who have soldiers in their life and who have soldiers that have passed away. I pray you are in my prayers. God bless you. And like Walter Cronkite said, may the good news be yours. I see you. Adios, amigos. Peace.
Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Make some motherfucking noise! Ain't nothing but so good. Street that in the house, Mr. Brother, watch your mouth. I like my hoes, never always in the street hoeing. In the store with their ass cheeks showing, looking fly.
in that coupe, son of a like to run up and on. Like big booty hoes, cute faces. Let nigga hit it on the first day basis. Niggas fake bitch kick game straight. X no down with the dominate face on. When the path is set with diamonds glaring. Keep a nigga staring when you wearing down a Karen. Or skip shit to keep a nigga looking at you. In the bunker says you can show off your tattoo. Even if you're a max true